Hi everyone, welcome here to our kitchen at our homestead. Today I'm here to share with you how to render your beef fat into tallow. Tallow is essentially beef fat from a cow. When rendered properly, it turns into this pure, white, odorless fat. And once you have that, you can use tallow for so many things. Here at the house, we absolutely love using tallow as moisturizer. It's one of our favorite things. But we also make soap out of our tallow, make candles, and also use tallow for cooking. Not only has a really high smoke point for frying food, but also helps enhancing the flavor of the food. If this is your first time making tallow, I would highly recommend getting 100% grass-fed fat. I go to my local farmer's market and I grab my beef fat with a farm that I trust and that I could ask all the questions, what the cows are fed, if they are pastured, raised, suet fat. That's supposed to be one of the best fat for rendering tallow. You can also use other type of fat, animal fat, part of the animal fat, but suet fat is the one that's highly recommended if you want to use it for cooking as well as for a beauty product. Let's get started on the process of turning this beef fat into the most pure, white and odorless tallow. I use my crock pot for many reasons, but one of the reasons, the main reasons for me, I am very sensitive to smell. I like to render my beef fat outside. Once all my beef fat is in the crock pot, I like to just plug it outside, let the beef fat cook for a few hours. I'm going to transfer all the beef fat that I already had cut in small pieces into the food processor. I could possibly do this without using the food processor, but I find it that the smaller the pieces of the beef fat, the faster I get my tallow rendered. So as I mentioned before, one of the reasons I cook my tallow outside, it's the smell. But also, it just gives a good temperature. So having kids, if I have to run out and I forget about the tallow in my crock pot, it's okay, nothing's gonna happen. But if I forget in the oven, I might burn my beef fat and I really don't want that. So this is another big reason why I love my crock pot. So we're just gonna pause and make sure it's nice and small. It's almost like a powder. Another thing I would highly suggest too, you don't want to do this at room temperature. You want to make sure that you have your beef fat nice and cold. It's much easier to work with. I'm going to add this now to my crock pot. Able to get a lot of tallow from this. Sorry guys, my food processor is not working that well. Here we go. So let me show you how it looks. Just take this little piece here. Really nice, dry, white powder fat. Now we're gonna toss this in crock pot. So before I bring my beef suet outside and let it cook for a few hours, I want to show you how it turns into after you roll. You can use a blender. I use my food processor, but I believe a blender should work just fine. I have tried in the past just cutting the tallow or the beef fat into smaller cubes or smaller pieces, but it took forever to render it down. This way is what works the best for me. Busy mom, so I put this on this low cooking mode and outside, so I got no smell in my house, and I can be out doing my chores and my stuff with the kids without worrying about this to burn. So I'm gonna put it outside and I will come back and I will show you when the fat starts melting. This is how your beef suet should be looking in about an hour or two. So it's pretty much almost done. I'm back from outside. I just brought my beef fat, the suet, back in the kitchen, and I'm going to strain it now. So I have probably left it out there for like 2 to 3 hours, slowly cooking, so nothing burned. It looks perfect. Let's see if I can show you how it looks now. Here we go. So everything went to the bottom, and I'm gonna strain it. So all you're gonna need to strain your beef suet is to strain it, and I like to use a cheesecloth on top. If you have it, you can use it. You can also use a coffee filter or just. It's still a little bit hot, so I'm gonna put my gloves because I don't want to burn myself. All right. It's looking awesome so far. And you can just strain as much as you can. What can you do with these pieces of fat that's left over? Chickens would love it. And this is it. This is how you render your own tallow. Let's take a look now when it's nice and dry. Okay, I want to show you a few hours later how the tallow looks. So it's nice and hard. However, there is still, if you look at the bottom of this, you can still see some impurities. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to now take this out of here and put it in a pot with some water and salt and do the last purification and shoot. Okay, yesterday I showed you the tallow after it was rendered, and I felt like that was still some smell to it, and also it wasn't as pure as I would like to be. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to actually do this inside the house now because the smell is not as strong. So it is on my crock pot still. I'm gonna show you, I put everything right in here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna add 12 ounces of water and a handful of salt to purify a little bit more and to remove all the smell. It's not supposed to smell like beef. You will have a tiny little bit of smell, but nothing like overpowering that when you add your essential oils, if you do, or even like when I do my lotions or my soap unscented, we don't mind the smell at all. I'm gonna slow cook. So I'm gonna add this slow cook for maybe another hour or so now, because this second part is gonna be super fast. So the second time that you're rendering your fat to make it even more pure and less smell and more purified, so you get that nice white, pure, odorless tallow, is the second time you render it. It's very quick. It's an hour and a half. So we are going to add the water, and I'm going to add like 1 salt. Cooking in a slow cooker for about an hour and a half, an hour. I'll come back, I'll strain it again, and it should be good to go. So if you're using your tallow for cooking only, I would say the first step of this rendering process, it's enough. If you really want to use this for your beauty products, I do recommend the second rendering it to get. It's been probably an hour now that the tallow has been slow cooking. I'm gonna show you. Here we go. I'm gonna leave this here now. I'm gonna do a few more chores, come back and show you guys how it's looking. All right, final step, it's done. I have my tallow here. If you look on the bottom, you can see that is all the impurity went down to the bottom. So now we're gonna clear that up a little. So I just made a little hole right there and I'm gonna drain the water that was on the bottom. It's gonna make it easier for me too. I'm okay with only rendering my tallow twice. I keep a smaller one in my kitchen where I use for cooking, and the other one I put in a mason jar, leave it in my basement. It should be shelf stable for quite a while. If you really enjoyed learning how to render tallow with us, please make sure you subscribe, share our videos, comment. We really appreciate the support. Thank you. Bye.